right, now to our first conversation. It's World Investor Week, a global campaign to raise awareness about the importance of investor education and protection. One of the primary reasons why people struggle with money is their lack of financial literacy or the inadequacy of their financial knowledge. Many people do not understand how money works apart from making and actually spending it. Well, the Securities and Exchange Commission set up Financial Literacy Technical Committee to sensitize the public on the benefit of smart investing. Now, to make sense of all of this, we have Mrs. Tony Sani, Group CEO, Emerging Africa, and Chair of Financial Literacy Committee. Great to have you on the program. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Ladi.
Great to have you. Well, so it's World Investor Week. Tell us about the significance of this, week set aside for investors.
Thank you. So the World Investor Week is a week set up specifically by the IOSCO, that's the International Organizations of Securities Exchanges all over the world, to mark the importance of investor education. It's a week that exchanges, securities regulators like the SEC in Nigeria, and operators, capital market operators like ourselves, are expected to take time out to educate the investing public on their protection and on the importance of investor education in the markets. Specifically this year, the theme hovers around, first of all, sustainable finance, sustainable capital markets. And I'm sure we all heard the president of the AFDB speaking a few minutes ago on the importance of the sustainability of our planet. And second theme is also avoiding scams and frauds. And the capital markets community, which I represent as the chairperson of the Financial Literacy Committee, is organizing a webinar on the 26th of November at which we're going to examine these two themes. We have knowledgeable speakers coming to address the market on how to raise funds in a sustainable way, and secondly, how to avoid being scammed. These are the two themes of the World Investor Week this year.
Okay, well, what kind of activities can investors actually expect within this Investor Week?
Oh, a lot of enlightenment activities, a lot of bell ringing activities by the various exchanges. In a couple of hours, I'll be joining the Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange at a similar event just to raise awareness about investing and about knowledge for investors. The investors can also expect going forward events such as investor fairs at which operators will educate investors on the opportunities available in the market, on the risks involved in investing in the market, on the benefits of investments, on how to build wealth generally, and how to be in control and in charge of our own finances. The capital market remains a major vehicle for wealth building for investors, and we will continue to inform and educate investors accordingly. There will be bell ringing ceremonies at the various exchanges and capital trade points. There will be visitations to key stakeholders, even in the course of this week. Publications, a lot of activity on social media. I'm sure we all know that we're all in a digital age now, and one of the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic is that a lot of communication is now digital, as I am also joining this program online now. So we can expect to see a lot even on the social media pages of capital market operators, of securities exchanges, and of course, of the Technical Committee on Financial Literacy, which I chair.
Right, and well, you are the chairperson of this Financial Literacy Technical Committee. Tell us, what this committee is all about, its objectives, and milestones achieved since its setup.
Thank you. So our objectives are to ensure that investors are knowledgeable about what it entails to invest in the capital markets. Our objectives are to increase financial literacy in general, to ensure that people understand money, understand how money works, understand how money is made, understand how money can be lost, and understand very importantly how they should be in the driving seat of their own financial affairs. People need to understand the discipline of budgeting, for example. People need to understand how to save money in the first place. People need to understand how, at the end of the day, to transit from saving to investing. And of course, people need to understand what are the trends in the market. Now, our committee has a responsibility to grow this knowledge and grow it all the way from the cradle, as it were, to the grave. And one of the key milestones we have achieved is the work we have gotten involved with to ensure that capital market studies are going forward in the curriculum of schools across Nigeria. So from primary schools to secondary school curriculum across Nigeria, our children, what the opportunity we didn't have when we went to school, our children going forward will learn all about the market and all about money, even as alongside their education. Another thing that we are working on is also to ensure that this capital market knowledge is also taught in programs such as general knowledge and even degree programs, first and second degree programs in Nigerian universities. And that is also in progress already in collaboration with the National Universities Commission. The work of our committee is also to engage all the tools of communication, such as the television, which we are on right now, such as blog sites, such as social media tools, to ensure that Nigerians are constantly informed about the rewards and the risks of participating in the capital market. Our duty also is to promote investor protection by engaging with securities exchanges, engaging with capital trade points, and also, very importantly, engaging with operators on how to ensure that we have a fraud-free capital market in our operations. Thank you very much.
Fraud-free, that makes a lot of sense, because nowadays it's all fraud happening everywhere regarding investments, people losing money. But, you know, financial literacy report from the Central Bank of Nigeria shows about 53.4% of Nigeria's adult population do not know or only have a rough idea of what they have spent in the past week. Additionally, over 50% do not know how much money is available for their daily expenses. What do you make of this?
It's painful because if you don't know, if you can't track your spending, then definitely you're not in control of your finances. And like I said earlier, the starting point for financial management, personal financial management, is first of all knowing where you are today. That means, how much do I earn today? You need to look at your financial journey, your personal financial management as a journey. If I want to go to Abuja today, I need to know that I am in Lagos. And then I need to know where I'm going, which is Abuja. And then finally, I need to know how I'm going to get there. So the same way, you need to have an understanding of your net worth, your personal net worth. You need to have an understanding of your regular income. You need to have an understanding of what are the sources of that income and how you're going to raise the sources of income. Then very importantly, you need to track your expenses. So that point you have made, that 53% of Nigerians, adult Nigerians, do not know how much they have spent, how much they're spending. It's a cause for concern. It's part of the reason why on our social media pages every day, this committee is posting information about personal financial management. We must track our expenses, we must track our savings, and we must convert our savings into investment. Thank you.
And the report reveals that there's a genuine interest, in financial literacy. Also reveals a significant, knowledge gap. Millions of Nigerians looking to achieve, financial independence, create wealth for themselves. They're hungry for knowledge, but the question now is, where can they find this knowledge?
Oh, they can find this knowledge on the website of the SEC. They can find this knowledge on the pages, the social media pages of Technical Committee on Financial Literacy. They can find this knowledge on the websites of capital market operators like ourselves, the Emerging Africa Group. They can find this knowledge also on the websites of the trade groups within the capital markets. We have multiple trade groups within the capital market, Fund Managers Association of Nigeria. We have the Association of Issuing Houses of Nigeria. All the trade groups also have this knowledge on their website. And of course, some of us have authored books. And one of the objectives of our committee is to encourage operators to write books. So some of us have authored books. I have authored a book, A Guide to Investing in Nigeria, Riding in the Eagle. Those are the kind of places where you go for investment information and knowledge.
All right, from an economic viewpoint, how does financial literacy actually impact the Nigerian economy?
Wow, the financial literacy impacts the Nigerian economy on several levels. The first one is that the more literate people are, the more they will save. And saving is very important to creating a pool of wealth and growing the pool of wealth that will develop an economy. So first of all, to mobilize domestic savings, we need people to understand why they need to save. We need people to understand how they can discipline themselves in spending so that they can save more. Secondly, the more we have financial literacy, the less people will lose to scams and frauds, and the less that they lose to scams and frauds. And some of these funds, unfortunately, are siphoned out of the country and taken to strange lands. We've heard some of the stories we've listened to. But the more we can stop this kind of activities, the more of these funds we have retained and invested in legitimate activities within our economy. It is also very important that people should be financially literate, because when you are financially literate, you have a higher propensity to create wealth. People need to be financially literate also because we need more people to be entrepreneurs, because it is entrepreneurs that will actually drive the growth that we require in this economy. And entrepreneurship without financial literacy is very hazardous.
Yeah, and when it comes to, new technology, investors have a choice to either make risky investments, like take, for instance, the crypto market that has generated a lot of interest in Nigeria. How do investors balance, new tech, investing in new tech, and the risk?
Okay, so the first thing we need to understand is that all forms of investment carry risks. The truth is that without risk, there will be no reward. So when we educate people and when we get involved in financial literacy activity, we're not telling people to avoid risk completely, because without risks, there are no rewards. In fact, there is actually there is a direct relationship between the level of risk that you take and the rewards you can expect. So what we tell investors rather is to understand what you are investing in. Understand how precisely your funds are going to be utilized, understand precisely how money is going to be made, and very importantly, understand yourself, your personal attitude to risk, how much risk you can actually absorb. And that will depend on your stage of life and your age. So back to, for example, cryptocurrencies. Definitely, there are high returns, extremely high returns in cryptocurrency investments, but there is also very high risk. So I would not encourage somebody who is like on the other side of, say, 60, for example. That would not be an investment of choice for them. But for younger people that have a longer life and, have a higher ability to absorb risk, you'll find out that it is those demographics, it's the Gen Zs that are very active, and the millennials that are very active in playing cryptocurrency. And even along the cryptocurrency continuum, there is, of course, the Bitcoin, which is probably the most stable amongst them. And you find out that some of the greatest investors internationally are also involved in Bitcoin investments and have made a lot of money. So bottom line is know yourself, know the regulatory environment in which you are operating. We know, for example, the Central Bank of Nigeria's stance on cryptocurrencies. Also know what stage of life you are in investing, know what is right for you.
Know what is right for you. Thank you so much, Ms. Tony Sani, Group CEO, Emerging Africa, and Financial Chair, Literacy Committee. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, Ladi.
All right, after the break, we have more conversations. That's in a moment. Do stay with us. This is Business Morning.